My name is Hannah. So I'm co-director of Nudge Community Builders and one of the founders. We started quite a long time ago, so I joined my local voluntary group, Stonehouse Action, just to get to know people really in my local area. We started a street party, the Union Street Party, because we noticed that there wasn't a lot of opportunity for the community to come together in a kind of fun way and in a way that just sort of celebrated the street and the local area in a really sort of positive way. So we started that, and then as we did that, every year people came out on the street and they were saying, you know, why is no one doing anything about these empty buildings? And when the street's closed, you see the whole street in a completely different light. So you kind of stand back and look at, you know, some really beautiful buildings. And so we started to question that as well, and who the we was, who were people expecting to bring these buildings back into use. They're not owned by the council, they're in private ownership and stuff. So we started to kind of explore that. And then we took on Union Corner, and that really kind of changed that area. But what we realised was the main benefit of that, apart from all the loveliness, obviously, went to the landowner. And so that's what started us on the journey to set up Nudge, so that we could own buildings, we could take on more financial risk for and behalf of communities and other organisations. And then, yeah, it went from there really. So yeah, we ended up, both of us leaving our jobs and working full-time for Nudge. And yeah, just thought if no one else is doing it, we could do it. So definitely with the Clipper, when, you know, we were a really young organisation, we'd only just stepped up to buy it, and then we did the community share offer. And although that was really hard, the fact that like hundreds of people trusted us enough to invest their money and believed in it and wanted it to happen in their local community was, you know, really moving and really inspiring and sort of pushed us on. So I think that was a real key moment. How this has grown in the plot is, you know, you kind of imagine something on paper and you think, oh, you know, if we create an environment where people can take the space that they need and collaborate, like what would happen? And so the lovely interactions where like projects have popped up, or, you know, people have traded with each other or supported each other to grow. Those sorts of things are the things that you think, oh yeah, all of that behind the scenes stuff is totally worth it to make that happen. Basically, so there's 19 organisations or entrepreneurs in here at the moment, and we're fully let. And we have been really since last summer. So we've had a couple of people move out to go onto bigger premises, but the whole idea was that, you know, people come here to grow, collaborate, and be in a relatively safe environment, like a supportive environment, to be able to make their idea happen.
My name is Lilian Wimana, and I'm currently managing Jabulani Food Court. We had women, and Diversity Business Incubator stand for an incubation that helps people from the BME community, Black and Asian minority, to start their own business. So we had that kind of network within our networking event. And we had women who were coming and telling us that they have this passion of cooking, and they used to use that passion to cook for their own communities or their own families gathering, and they didn't know how to make that to be a viable business. And as we carry on listening to those stories, we thought maybe something can be born from this, which is creating a space where these women who don't have any background in business come and cook from their heart and from the country where they come from, and then share that with the community where they live. That's how we started really. It was out of the need that was presented to us, and we needed to be able to fulfill the need, and that's how we started Jabulani Food Court. I'm very passionate about women, and I'm passionate about seeing women coming out of their shells and doing amazing stuff, because I believe it's in us. We have something special as individuals, and actually when we come together, that thing that is special just blossom and become amazing. So the moment that has happened to me is seeing the community within Plymouth coming and enjoying what we're given, which is food and ourselves. So seeing them coming and enjoying food that they've never tasted before and enjoying the space that we've created. No one came and asked us, where are you coming from? Everybody come and ask, what is this food? I like it. Oh, it's very tasty, it's beautiful. The conversation went from just food to where the food come from, where we come from. And for me, I saw inclusivity happening in front of my eyes. I saw people accepting others in front of my eyes with no prejudice, with no other thing involved, rather than just having that lovely moment of sharing culture, of sharing food, sharing good moment, laughter. And for me, within this community in Stonehouse, it became like my family. I have a second family here, which is people who come to us, people who enjoy our space. Yes, other people call them customers, but yeah, I feel very personal about everything that is happening in Jabulani.
My name is Azza Gassim. I'm a creative and I also work for DBI. I'm a tenant here in the plot. My relationship with Jabulani actually happened from last year, I want to say in June, where DBI actually reached out to me to speak on a year later of what happened with the Black Lives Matter protests. So I was actually one of the people that was fortunate enough to speak with the megaphone, speak my truth to everyone in Plymouth, which was about 500 to 1,000 people plus, standing in front of the police steps, voicing my truth. And a year later is when DBI reached out to me, who did a hackathon, which involved teachers, students, entrepreneurs, and whatnot to speak about their experiences and in terms of what they think was happening next in Plymouth and if there's any changes. And to be honest, I didn't really see any changes happening. But that was just me seeing Plymouth through a tiny little microscope. And throughout that, I had ideas of what to do for Plymouth in terms of Black History Month, and coming up with a notebook of ideas and sending it through to them. And between that, it was just collaboration. And before I knew it, Jabulani became a second home. So pretty much having an art space here and literally being able to walk 2 minutes down into Jabulani was perfect for me. So even for me, and I've slowly been doing this over the last couple of years, is collecting artworks from different artists. It could be friends, it could be family, it could be different artists I've collected over the years. So my art space at the moment, although most of it is mine, some of it is actually other people's one, and I want to get to a place where I can showcase and have that platform for other people as well.
Hi, my name is Tanya Nana and I work for DBI and Jabulani. So Jabulani is a multicultural food court that's based at the plot on Union Street, and it does a variety of food from different places in Africa. We are trying to achieve with Jabulani and DBI. We are just trying to uphold like the values that we have, you know, which is passion, attitude, gratitude. It's just always there, and we're hoping that with Jabulani we would push those values and people can really feel, you know, what we're trying to do and what we're trying to achieve, which is creating spaces like this all around the UK.
My name's Mary Toon and I am a felt maker, and I work in the plot in a studio which I call the Sheep Shed, because I make mostly felt objects out of sheep's fleece, which I source locally or from up north. And I also make papier-mâché figures out of milk bottles and sand and newspaper and flour and water. So my move to Plymouth from Tavistock was a good one, and at a time when Plymouth is really getting its act together, and I was lucky enough to meet Hannah and Wendy at a time where they were really opening doors for all sorts of people. And I remember being in Plymouth when I didn't even live here and seeing the road closed and finding that one day the road was closed. Why is the road closed? I had no idea why it was closed, but I could vaguely hear music and wondered for a long time what that was about. And it wasn't until I came to Union Corner that I realised that that was the Union Street Party, which has grown and grown. So I'm a felt maker, and I discovered felt making about 25 years ago. And this is a sign for the new cafe that's opening up down at the Clipper. And I made the sign for Jabulani, which is on the cafe door in Jabulani. And the person who commissioned me to make that is now opening their own restaurant, cafe in the Clipper. And so she asked me to do one for her. This is my raw material. Fly away. Sorry, should I do that again? Fly away fleece. Which turns into, after the heat, the moisture and the friction, into a very strong fabric. People think it's delicate, but it's not.
My name is Alan Smith. I'm one of the co-founders of the Rockpool Project, which is a not-for-profit community interest company. Of course, my story goes back a long way, actually, back to the beginning of the 2000s when I went to university and studied marine biology and met a chap called Ben, who became a good friend. He became a marine biologist, a doctor of marine biology. I didn't. I went off and worked in travel and became a teacher. And to cut a very long story short, we came up with the idea 4.5 years ago of trying to combine education with marine biology, and here we are. Nudge have been absolutely amazing for us. They helped us get some lottery funding for a 2-year project called Blue Recovery. Without their help and support and assistance, I'm sure we wouldn't have got the funding. It's the biggest step forward we've ever had as a project. We now work in the plot once a week. We help them to reach certain people in North Stonehouse and take them rock pooling every month and engage them with the world of citizen science. I think the future of our project is very exciting. We are based in Falmouth and in Plymouth, particularly being in Plymouth now, Britain's ocean city, with the National Marine Park opportunities. I hope we've got a very prominent part to play in engaging people and getting as many people as possible down to the National Marine Park, exploring the wildlife and just enjoying the benefits of being outdoors, as well as joining in with the citizen science projects we offer.
Hi, I'm Nicola. I work for Nudge Community Builders and I am the visual coordinator. So I contacted Wendy about a potential position at Nudge. I was in a different space at the time in my life and they took an opportunity on me. I was their wild card, as they said. And I started working with them initially, and now in a creative capacity. So my job was to look at the creative civic change funding that we had and implement creative projects on the street or in our buildings and with the community that brought joy and colour to the street. And then I began progressing into the social media and comms for Nudge. I love the Manor Street Market. It's a kind of run-up to the street party. The street party is obviously a huge event, but for me, the markets are just really lovely. They've always got a nice atmosphere, and they kind of encapsulate what I see is what we do in terms of it's a place where if you're feeling lonely or if you're not feeling particularly confident either as a seller or as within yourself, it's a safe sort of space where you can come and just be.
So I'm Amy and I work for Nudge Community Builders and I'm the volunteer coordinator. Just come in, take a look, walk down the road and take a look in. If it catches your eye, come in. One lady come in not so long ago, she just moved to Plymouth. She had a terrible accident. She come down here, she never had any family, no friends. And she popped into the plot and just by talking to one of us or seeing someone in the plot, now she's fully connected to everybody in Plymouth. Now she's a socialite. So from walking into the plot, she's now connected to the Union Street. She's connected to Union Corner. She comes to all the groups that run in Union Corner. This is full of groups for everybody. We've got a women's group. We've got Time Bank, we've got Vinyl Lounge, we've got our monthly events, Wonder Zoo do their events. So there's always something going on. So just walk past, take a look and ask somebody. Yeah, people need people and people need people. And I think, especially with the lockdown and we've had this isolation, I think there was a rise in isolation and a rise in loneliness, and having buildings like this unlocked has brought that community together. So it's a sense of friendship, it's a sense of love. Yeah.
Hi, I'm Joanna. I am a volunteer at Nudge. I like to muck in on the various events that they run. I moved here in the pandemic and didn't really know anybody here. And I come from Sheffield where there were a couple of good community-based initiatives too, and I was looking for that sort of thing. I was really surprised to find that in Plymouth there was such a strong centre for this that was directed by Nudge, and was delighted to encounter the Union Street Party. I didn't really know about Nudge until I ended up just cycling down this road and bumped into this amazing street party with like all these wonderful, really lovely people and cool things going on. I was just amazed. I loved it. I wanted to get involved immediately.
My name is Nomi, son of Rana. I'm a comic book / illustrator. I got involved with Nudge and they asked me to do like a pop-up, set a stall here and see how it goes. Meet the community, meet the people that come in, the public. Tried that out twice, went pretty good. I also got involved in a Union Street party that was here last year as well. It blocked off the whole road. And I attended that as well, and that was really good as well, really. So the good thing about with Nudge is that they actually they welcome anyone and everyone from all different categories and areas. So it's good to actually just fit in and be involved with all the sorts of different type of projects and community events, really.
I'm Slay McGough Davey, part of Wander Zoo. Today we're doing a charity gig with many different organisations to raise funds and money for the Ukrainian refugees. We called it Peace Event because it's for everybody of all cultures to come together to say we don't want war, we want peace. Community means to me this, everybody coming together from all different walks of life and actually having a good fun, enjoyment and being together and united and saying that, you know, at the end of the day, we're all brothers and sisters. Wander Zoo is craziness, fun, chaotic and madness.
With the Millennium Building, it took a long time to buy it, so people don't see all of that. So it was on and off for many years, and it was the one that I think really motivated us to start Nudge. We were like, actually, you know, if we could do that building right on the corner of the boulevard, it would be a real game changer for this community and the street. Once we acquired it, we bought it with Eat Work Art, so that was a really different collaboration for us, but it sort of makes us both stronger as organisations. So we're both bringing our skills together on the to the table. We're looking at creating a venue upstairs and sort of daytime uses through the front of the building, and then on the ground floor, sort of quite large, kind of semi-industrial type uses where organisations can come in that fit with the venue upstairs, so they're not needing it to be super quiet or anything like that, but they're really adding to it. But also importantly, I think people that are going to create local job opportunities, that welcome volunteers or want to kind of build local people's skills and things like that and offer something really different to our community that isn't here now. So yeah, it's very much a creative process. So there's a plan, but it's a loose plan, and it's all about responding to local needs, local opportunities, who's ready to come in and be part of that mix. We've learned about how important our values are, so the things that we hold really dear through a process of bringing a building back into use, but also, you know, how you kind of create an environment that works for people. And so yeah, we want to scale that with the Millennium Building, and we're hoping that people that are in our buildings now start to flourish and want to take on larger spaces and sort of move around the street and are able to do that rather than feeling like they need to leave the area. And we really want to scale the care. So we've really noticed that, you know, with a lot of care, people can progress from maybe selling at the market to, you know, volunteering to then maybe having a shed here and seeing people kind of progress that. So those kind of like, I guess, pipelines that you see of people really benefiting in lots of different ways from people. I really want to see how we can scale that, like physically and sort of emotionally for people, I think is really important.